Good afternoon, my friends. This is the Grim Flare, and I hope you're all doing very well today, and I hope you are all staying safe, being well, happy, healthy, and all the rest during what is a trying time for many of us in the outer world, but we are here to escape the outer world. A little bit of escapism, a little bit of distraction and entertainment, and perhaps edification for you as we play Lurrus of the Dream Den. Modern's most powerful card, ? In Modern, we are obviously in a Jund shell here. Is that clickbaity to say that this might be the most powerful card in Modern? I guess it's not clickbaity if I didn't put it in the title, right? So I can get away with it, and I'm not making that claim, but the card is nuts. We all know this by now. The card is utterly nuts, and we are in a really strong Jund shell. I'm very confident that the deck is strong. We'll just have to see how it goes. Modern is a wild, wild west right now, and I know that's a bit of a cliche. And it's also kind of always half true, but right now, holy moly, you can run into anything and everything, including a lot of Lurrus mirrors, so we will see how it goes. But this is a donation league for a great supporter, a tireless tier Patreon member called Noah, so thanks to Noah for this league. I do want to shout out Noah's Magic the Gathering Club. He is based in the Texas A&M campus. He is a senior finance manager. Obviously, things are a little bit different right now, but he does have a club that he's a senior member of, officially recognized by campus. So if you are on campus especially, but also just in the area in general, you want to link up and make friends with some local MTG players, some local viewers of this fine channel, then I will leave Noah's email in the description below, and you can get at Noah that way. And even though people are self-quarantining right now, they're still, having events over Zoom and other ways to play remotely are, of course, available to us as well. So please do check that out. And thank you, Noah, for your generous support and your generous donation for this league. So we're playing Jund Lurrus, and many of you will have seen by now Dylan Hovey, I assume is how you say his name, a online player of some renown who has gone 80% win rate in his first 15 matches with a list rather like this one. We have made some changes, though, and we're not claiming the changes are better, but I do think the changes are all very much worth testing. So, the first change is that Dylan was on 7 discard spells, including 4 Inquisition of Kozilek. Noah has cut the 7th discard spell for the second Fatal Push, and you can go either way here. 2 push, 6 discard is more of a stock Jund configuration. I guess the idea by playing the 7th one is that, of course, you want to punch a hole in the opponent's plan more often, and you can afford the bad top deck of a discard spell in the mid to late game better with the inevitable grinding value of Lurrus. So I understand the concept there, but I also think that because we're playing, a lot of shock effects, we've got Seal of Fire, Kolaghan's Command, we've got a slightly stronger Lightning Bolt, we've got the ping of Wrenn and Six, there are going to be some things that our red spells cannot kill, some creatures that need to die to a Fatal Push, so I can go either way on that. I think this is a perfectly fine change. Another change that we've made from Dylan's stock list is that we are, speaking of shocks, playing a second Seal of Fire over a 4th Lightning Bolt just to really maximize Lurrus, basically. This is punishing Fire's equivalent in Modern, the closest thing we're probably likely ever to see to it. Short of them unbanning the card itself, it's very, very powerful. And, of course, it grows the Tarmogoyf very nicely, too. I'm a huge fan of this. And, yeah, we'll see how it performs. We also have some moving and shaking going down in the CMC 2 slot because Noah is very high on the idea of Scavenging Ooze, in his words, because he's a little bit worried about the amount of aggro that might be out there. And also, it occurs to me that in the Lurrus mirrors, Scavenging Ooze can compete over the graveyard really well and generally just is an effective card in mid-range grindfests. And, of course, Uro, Kroxa, these cards are still out there. These were pretty big incentives to play Skooz before Ikoria came out, and they remain so as far as I can tell. So 2 copies of Skooz and 2 copies of Wrenn and Six. This is simply one of the most powerful 2-mana permanents in all of Modern, and of course it slots perfectly into Jund. So given the composition of Dylan's list that did do so well, I understand omitting Wrenn and Six, but I also think it is incumbent upon us to test the card in the shell, because it's just really, really good, obviously. Just an incredibly strong card. No getting away from it, and it does not violate the Lurrus companion stipulation. So we have cut Some cuttable cards. The third Kroxa, the fourth Bob. They make Dylan's list more streamlined, and they also are very powerful in their own right, but they are more cuttable, they are more extraneous, and they are more potentially clunky in multiples than other potential cuts, so I really like the changes that Noah has suggested here. Another cut we've had to make to facilitate the new additions is the fourth Kolaghan's Command, and there's something really appealing about just registering a full playset of K-Command, but let us not forget that it was stocked to play 2 before all this started, and it was more common to play 1 copy main deck than it was to play 3. So going all the way up to 4 does represent a pretty extreme deck building decision. Again, I'm not saying it's wrong, I'm not saying I don't like it, but I am saying that the 4th K command is more cuttable than probably most other things we would otherwise cut. Moving on to the sideboard, we have a very powerful sideboard, and it's a lot of the same stuff that Dylan was playing in the list he had so much success with one piece of spice, if I dare say. My suggestion here, Vampire Hexmage. Now, I'm not saying she's better than alternatives. I'm not even saying she's better than the second copy of Maelstrom Pulse that was formerly in the sideboard, but I am saying that I was brewing with Lurrus as soon as it got spoiled in the maybe a couple days after, and my first thought was Abzan, and then with Abzan to look at all the hate bears that were available, and then of course when I got to looking at Jund, I still had kind of the hate bear idea percolating around in my mind, and then I said, well, Vampire Hexmage is actually a rare black hate bear that actually has a lot of appeal when you think about the potential to recur her. Of course, a 2/1 first strike for 2 is not amazing, but it's a respectable board presence in some ways. Look at how Thalia, Guardian of Thraben, can be on some board states, and, you have your answer. But of course, Hexmage can trade with a Planeswalker, come back next turn. She can complicate board states, especially with combat against a deck like humans. You're presenting a first strike multiple block, but you're also presenting the ability to sacrifice and reset a champion of the parish. You can even reset an ether vial with her. So normally, she's interesting, but a little bit too value negative, I think, for Jund to want. And maybe a little bit too narrow as well. But again, with the prospect of buying her back over and over with Lurrus, I think she at least is good enough to test. Again, not claiming she's the new best sideboard card or anything remotely like that, but I think she's fun, I think she's decent, and I know that we're going to play her. So let's get into it, my friends. I'm getting right in. Play League match. So, as always, let me know what you think, and thank you once again to Noah for funding this donation league. We also have 3 new Patreon supporters to thank, and I think these 3 fine individuals take us right up to the very gates of having 100 Patreon supporters. I think we're at 98. It's truly amazing. I appreciate each and every one of you. We have Inquisitor Ben Rez. We have Unearthed tier member David with a Y. David, some form of David with a Y. I probably pronounced it wrong. And then we have a brand new Confidant, Will Bushmeyer. So, thank you so very much, my friends. I appreciate each and every one of you. And I appreciate all Patreon supporters as always. We've got a sweet hand. Look at all this interaction. Oh man, I hope they play to the board. We're going to keep. Even if they don't, we can Inquisition turn 1 and turn 3 start looping the Bauble, and the burn spells can go upstairs. But if they're trying to develop a board state based off small creatures, we couldn't ask for much of a better hand than this. So we're going to begin by bobbling the opponent for full information. They're about to draw a Mana Leak. Okay, so they're not going to probably play to the board with a Mana Leak deck. Or are they? There's 2 copies of Spell Queller. Well, we can bolt one of them at some point, and we'll take the other right now. So we've drawn another Inquisition. That actually seems pretty good. Fatal Push, huh? Well, we're just going to take away the Mana Leak, get the Seal of Fire down, and then we can resolve Lurrus on curve unless they draw another Mana Leak. or a similarly low-costed piece of interaction. All right, they're representing it. They didn't play a tapped land, but we definitely, I think, have to go for it unless we draw something really interesting here. Dark Confidant is really interesting, but I'm just gonna jam Lurrus. It'd be extraordinarily unlucky if they had a way to blow us out here. Oh no, they drew... Okay, it's an opt. Ooh! They had me there. They had me sweating it. And here comes the Lurrus loop, my friends. It's a beautiful thing if you're on the if you're not on the receiving end of it, I guess. It's a little bit ridiculous, you have to say. Did they find a path? They did. Okay, well that sucks. But obviously still a really value-positive exchange for us. We have 2 black, 2 red, and 2 green, so we have everything we need. I want to get basic forest for Skooz, but a non-forest land for Kroxa, so I guess I will just err on the side of Kroxa here. The fact that they found a path immediately is a bit rough. They're about to draw a Force of Negation. The good news is we have another value engine coming down in the form of Bob. Kroxa. All right, let's play the Bob. They're going to go for the Queller. We're going to bolt it. You gotta do a lot of clicking to get through a Spell Queller, but we did it. We managed it. Alright, so Bob is a huge headache for the opponent here. Mystic Sanctuary is going to be online for another path at some point, but we're a couple turns away from that mattering. And we're drawing the 2 per turn with good old Bobby. Trophy Peatland, not the greatest. Okay, I suppose we know their whole hand, don't we? I guess we didn't. What didn't we know about? I tracked their hand inaccurately. Just going to take a moment to look back. They played Island. Where'd that Plains come from? Well, I think their hand's got to be Mystic Sanctuary, Force of Negation, if I'm not mistaken. In any case, at the risk of our own life total to a small degree, and also at the risk of them top decking a Verdict or whatever, I do think we jam double Bob, give the opponent as many headaches as possible. I thought they would take that chance to field our Peatland, but they don't. That would have gotten them closer to turning on Mystic Sanctuary and... Ooh, Drannith Magistrate, that's some spice. Thankfully, we do just have the push. So, opponent with a Force Rotting in hand, our Curve Out, very, very powerful here. And we're about to escape the Kroxa, if we want to, which I assume we do. Seal of Fire, Assassin's Trophy, and we draw Kolaghan's Command, eh? Don't quite have enough red mana for everything we'd like to do, which is a shame. We'll leave Bauble in there, I suppose. Even though Lurrus is no longer with us, that still seems like a perfectly reasonable rare type for the purposes of Tarmogoyf. Not that the size of a Tarmogoyf is going to decide this game, you understand? They found Tef, huh? Bouncing the Kroxa. Yeah, you know, the longer all this goes on, the tougher it's going to be for ourselves not to die to Bobs. Yeah, yikes. Yikes. What do we do here? Okay, so we're going to be operating off of 6 lands, but I don't really want to tap the Peatland here. I also definitely want to put lethal on field, and I wouldn't mind having Seal of Fire ready to kill one of our own Bobs just to make sure we don't get cheesed out by that. There's also Celestial Colonnade to worry about. I think we have to hold up Trophy here. There's a lot we have to do. There is a whole lot we have to do. I guess Kroxa plays around permission a little bit better than most things and is also the most cost-efficient way to get whatever that last card is out of their hand, and it could Lava Spike them, which could matter a lot. It was another Force of Negation. Alright, so it didn't Lava Spike them. Think we're getting the Goyf down. I feel obligated to hold up Trophy. I'm going to attack Teferi off the field, although it might be better to ignore him, honestly. But with our board state and with all this burn in hand, we can definitely put lethal together next turn, even through, you know, a good top deck from the opponent, most likely. So if the opponent finds a land, they're going to go for it. Okay, they're not. We're not going to tap the Peatland anyway for mana, so I might as well crack it, right? Thoughtseize. Okay. Chose to roll the dice with our own Bob just because I wanted to get lethal across, and again, the fact that they didn't attack. We would have had to hit 2-3 drops, would have been obviously really unlucky, but, you know, Seal of Fire, our own Bob, and then they have a Path to Exile, and then they're alive barely. You know, maybe it was still correct too, but I decided, good old Bobby. He's got our back, right? So Veil of Summer, Nihil Spellbomb? Probably, although I don't know how much graveyard-dependent stuff we saw there. Brutality, and we're going to give Hexmage a go here, I think. Trading with the Planeswalker, coming back to do it again, potentially. You know what, though? You know what I think we should play around? I think we should play around them having Rest in Peace. Therefore, maybe we actually don't play Nihil Spellbombs. I don't think we should cut them entirely, necessarily. But, like, Spell Queller, I could really see them being a Rest in Peace deck, especially in the current state of the meta. So let's try to fit all these cards in. Maybe, honestly, only 2 Brutality as well. They have too many important permanents that it can't answer. And we've got a lot of slots to figure out spaces for. I think these Seals of Fire can go. probably the seals and the pushes. Just kind of lean into Bolt to answer Queller. Because I think we have to leave Trophy in. Everything else is great. I'm going to treat it kind of like traditional blue-white control and Trimisk Ooze, even though, you know, again, that might not be strictly correct. It's just really hard to say right now, specifically in the meta. So we've got one cut to make. I think I am going to give them credit for either not having that much graveyard stuff or for us being able to compete with it if both of us are using our graveyards. So I'm going to cut another Spellbomb, and this could well end up being wrong. The alternative is to just cut Tarmogoyfs and play more of a value game, though. Do I want to just... That lets us play Pillage, too. Do I just want to roll all that back? Okay. Nah. We're going to submit it. I'm playing a little bit of a mind game with myself. Like, this is more of a traditional blue-white control build. Against Bant, I kind of like cutting Goyfs with a lot of what we're doing, but here, I'm going to play him. We're going to see. It's a real stab in the dark anyway, right? Ooh, this is a bit of an ugly hand, specifically because it's a one-lander, but the upsides are huge. I am going to keep it. You can't get mad at double discard, and if we do hit a land in the first 2 turns, Dark Confidant on curve is perfect in this matchup. We haven't done so, but we have hit another Bob. Just all in on drawing the second land now. So they have Opt, Queller, Path. Tempted to take the Opt here. They also have a Karn the Great Creator, though. I think we're going to take the Queller, because if we don't hit our land drops, Queller is going to almost deterministically win the game. And if we do hit our land drops, it's still fine to have these bolts around for other Quellers, or indeed to hit Karn. They'll probably tick down with Karn, and then we'll just bolt it, hopefully. But let's just draw a land for Bob. Ugh. Unreal. Well, we're punished. They do have another Queller and a Vendilion Click. I think we have to take Karn here and just kind of allow them to have their tempo cards. But we just, obviously, would be much better off if we were hitting a second land. Let's do it right now. Let's do it right here, right now, baby. No, an Inquisition? Good draw. Bad timing. Just gotta let this resolve and then go get a mountain. As bad as that is, that's just the play here. Unreal. Oh, man. Well, the risky keep did not pay off, did it? They find another Karn. Okay, you gotta say their draws have been pretty much perfect to punish us. Okay. I could get Tormod's Crypt here to play around Lurrus, but they're... Oh, boy. Yeah, okay. But I was going to say we're not anywhere near Lurrus, so... Liquimetal Coating. Gonna kind of rot in hand. Okay, this is officially well beyond the point of averages. We should hit the land in the first 2 draw steps, but not hitting it in the first 4 is ridiculous. The keep was not without risks, but getting punished like this is, yeah. Again, a little bit beyond the pale. Jeez. Like, if we just even hit a second land here on turn 5, you know what? We'd be in good shape. Okay, so opponent giving us a chance here. I'm definitely bolting here, so we do not have to discard to hand size. I understand their desire to do something here, but, like, just making us discard to hand size might have been better there. Now, granted, again, we're just going to lose to the Queller, but that's because we've missed the land drop 4 times in a row. Not really because of any decision we made, besides maybe keeping the one-lander. Opponent tanking, yeah, I was gonna say they should just leave our hand as it is. There's no real hole they can punch in it that matters that much. And they should just try to land screw us as hard as possible. So now we just, like, literally, obviously, just want to draw lands off the top, but even if we do, we're kind of probably playing draw go a little bit with the Queller, but might also be correct to play into it. Land, 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 land. Oh, did they find another? They're bouncing our mountain in the upkeep. That's kind of hilarious. Again, their draws continue to be pretty perfect. But, my friends, we hit the second land, and it's a Verdant Catacombs. Feck Shock Inquisition. We will not even have to discard the hand size. If we can fade some really good top decks from them for a little while, we can get there. Okay, they have Teferi, huh? I was all set to take away the Queller under most circumstances, but probably want to take the Teferi, right? Yeah, I'll take the Tef. Alright, but we're operational, my friends. We are operational. That was kind of a risky cryptic from the opponent, too, don't you think? I mean, it paid off in a way, because we only had 1 mana to work with that turn, but... Oh, it's not risky when you have Mystic Sanctuary, you just buy it back. I see. I see. Well, that lock probably just beats us. It's going to be land go for me here. I was going to say, I don't think they were going to cryptic again there. Nihil Spellbomb. I think I'm going to lead on it. And if they compete over this, they don't compete over it. Okay, cool. So now we can Brutality and force the Cryptic out of their hand, and then if they bounce, it makes bouncing the Mystic Sanctuary a lot worse. And obviously it's value negative. We're going down on a card overall to do this, but we have to make these value negative plays because we're so far behind on the tempo game. They just go counter draw. Sweet. So yeah, we've kind of broken up the loop for now. It's not often you say, oh, they just cryptic to counter draw. Awesome. But that's kind of where we were at right then and there. We still have a long way to go to fight through their hand. Oh no, Field of Ruin, then Path. I mean, I'm happy we drew another land, but the fact that it was a basic was really bad. Liquid Metal Coating, yep. 1 unknown in hand. Queller Path, okay. Oh, mixed feelings again. Mixed feelings about the draw of yet another basic. Definitely playing it. We can double spell. Try to fight through their hand that way, but I think it might be better to just pass. And then force some action with an end-step Kolaghan's Command, perhaps. We obviously like representing Nihil Spellbomb. We obviously like kind of wasting their turn again here. I think I'm going to Spellbomb now. It does change our plans a bit. Unfortunately, we've got nothing to buy back. So I'm going to go for a K command right now. It's not perfect, but I think it's acceptable. Okay, we get another Field of Ruin out of their hand. That's actually really good. It's actually really good. We can't afford to keep getting our lands hit like this. Now we're just trying to kind of draw more discard. I think I'm just double spelling. We're at the point where we're going to start forcing action through before they hit a really good top deck. We obviously wish we had a way to answer this, but since we don't, just going to force them to path this Bob and then actually try to take over the game with Scooze. Thought about going the opposite way. Oh no, they have a Cryptic too. Jeez, okay. Getting a little bit punished at every turn here. It is a minor miracle that we are still in it, but we needed a bit of a higher brick rate from the opponent than we've received. That was the wrong land to get. My bad, I definitely meant to get Overgrown Tomb. Leading on Bauble. Bauble the OP. Force of Negation coming off the top. Path and some unknowns in hand. Alright, I am just going for the Lurrus here. Going for the highest upside play. Getting the 3-for-1, even if they'll path it after the fact. Still pretty good. I think Bauble is just about as good as Spellbomb here. Simply because we've got a Scooze that looks like it's going to stick. They've clearly got to path the Lurrus here. Oh, Monolith. Okay, stand corrected. Scooze will not stick. So to that end, Bauble would have been interesting. I think Monolith's the only card where Lurrus resolves and Scooze doesn't, right? But what are you going to do? Okay, so opponent has a Force and 1 unknown. They're about to draw Detention Sphere. We have drawn Assassin's Trophy and Thoughtseize, a couple of pretty good draws. Begin with a Thoughtseize for sure. Okay, it gets forced. Try to resolve a trophy. I have another one. Spell Snare. Oh, brutal. Brutal. Well, we play the Goyf out into the D-Sphere. We've got to be careful with our life total here. So we'll fetch painlessly on the end step. We're at a virtual 6, which is why I didn't crack Peatland too aggressively there, even though we had some incentives to. Alright, we gotta find some of our removal because we've got 2 things trapped under their permanence. We are in a really interesting spot if we do. Goyf. Okay. Goyf and land. Okay, so we got land screwed and then we're flooding right at the very end of the game. That is pretty tough pill to swallow. We're not out of it yet, but we need them to brick right here, and then we need a heater off the top. We're not quite winning the race, although Goyf is coming pretty close. Veil of Summer. A little late for that, probably. Imagine if we had that for the Spell Snare or the anything at any point in the game, you know? You know? Alright, we can force our heater through if we find said heater. Narset, Parter of Veils. Okay. Yeah, we could cantrip with Veil here, and it might be correct to do so, but we'll see what they reveal first, just because we won't be able to cantrip with it next turn, right? They put Big Tef in hand? Okay. GG. I don't think I'm even going to show them Veil of Summer here. We're not winning through that board state anyway. So, yeah, they top deck the Planeswalkers right at the end to seal the deal when they probably already had us. I don't really regret the one-land keep. I think mulling in this matchup seems really bad, and our opening hand was really good. Honestly, if we had hit the land by like turn 3 or 4, I think we probably win that game. So, I still didn't see much that goes on in their graveyard. I think I kind of like what we're doing. I still think I'm a little bit worried about Rest in Peace. Pillage might be more appealing on the play, but I'm kind of feeling the need to, like, race this deck enough that I want to leave Tarmogoyfs in. They're Karn the Great Creator deck, too. Gotta remember that. Pillage is even better against Karn. We should probably be playing Pillage, right? Let's find a way to play Pillage. Guess I'm going to go down to 2 Lightning Bolts. I guess I'm going to no Nihil Spellbombs. It feels really weird, but I think following the signals of what we've seen, it's probably correct. Still have to make a cut. The rest of our decks are really good. We could cut a trophy because it's a little non-Bowie with Pillage. But there's probably too many important trophy targets to do that. I'm going to go down to no copies of Skooz. We're really punting away our ability to interact with their graveyard in most ways, but I've given my reasons, and I hope they are sufficient here. This hand is quite fine. We'll keep it. It would be a little sketchy on the draw. But here on the play, a solid, if unspectacular, keep. It's just like proactive and packed with value. It doesn't disrupt that well, but on the play we might not need it to. All right. At the risk of Spell Snare, I think we're going for the high upside play of Dark Confidant. And not a basic land in sight, so if they've got a path early, well, we'll take it, right? That's exactly what happens. Okay. I'm going to get Mountain for Kroxa, and also because we've got double green, double black already rolled up. Triple black, in fact. Drannith Magistrate. Okay, wasn't sure if that would still be in the deck. Obviously, it's a meta call against Lurrus, but with us being on Jund, you could see them also opting against it, right? I think we're just going to go Kroxa and Goyf. Plan to ignore the Magistrate for now. It's a nice double spell turn 3 on the play. That's the power of Bob drawing out the path. And you see the opponent's life total is already, taking a bit of a hit because they fetched and shocked, which is one reason I was kind of interested in leaving the Goyf around. In the 60, that is. Opponent will opt to the top and then play a fetch land. Interesting. Wrenn and Six. That's going to let us play the value game really well here. Another path. Oh darn, oh darn. We don't have Skoozes in the deck, so Swamp is pretty easy here. Going for the Wrenn, making the land drop. Then I am just going to main phase bolt the Magistrate here. Alright, our position's pretty nice, you have to say. We can also start looping Peatland with Wrenn, potentially. Opponent not making a land drop either. Inquisition seems really good. Pillage seems really good. Oh boy, we are drawing like crazy. So I'm just going to buy back the Peatland. Follow with Inquisition here. See exactly what they're working with, and then most likely go for a Pillage here. Double Queller, double Teth. I think we're supposed to take a Queller and say go. If we just had a Decay in hand, that would be nuts, but we don't. On the other hand, trading is like reasonable here, but the fact that we can hold up K Command and crack Peatland makes me want to just play around their stuff this way. And if they just run out Queller for pressure, yeah, I think this is actively good for us. Wanted to at least consider bolting if we had managed to draw it there, but since we didn't. And yeah, Wrenn and Six just soaking up this damage here. Alright, so here... I think I'm going to buy back Kroxa, force them to discard. We're obviously close to escaping Kroxa, but this lets us double spell a lot better. I'm still very interested in a Pillage. Admittedly, we need another red land to double spell with specifically those two cards, but... Okay, they ditch a field. They're keeping the Tef around. Pretty serious dedication to that. They've got another one, of course, in hand. But we can take care of it with the Kroxa if we want to. It's probably got to be better to Pillage, right? So now they don't have blue mana, which is just like ridiculously good for us. You know, I actually probably should have bought back Fetch Land instead of Peatland there. That was probably too greedy in terms of the value play. Should have just bought back Fetch Land to get the other Kroxa going. Opponent draws a replacement land anyway, huh? I mean, our position is still so good that I don't think it matters. Opponent bouncing the Queller back. Interesting play. Lead on Kroxa, see what they do. Really wish we drew non-brutality discard here. Alright, so their hand is Queller, Teferi. Think I'm going for the escape on Kroxa here. Obviously, they're going to Queller this, but they're going to Queller a whole lot of other things that we're likely to do, right? Kind of sucks that they drew that island right after we kind of sequenced our way to a Pillage that was really potentially backbreaking. If we had had like 2 threats to play, I would have done that instead. And Teferi and Queller is a heck of a combination. We'd be in trouble with our life total if this Wrenn and Six hadn't drawn their attacks for so long. This is quite the grind fest here in G1. Hope you guys are enjoying it. We've drawn another Pillage, huh? Seems potentially reasonable for sure. Think we go for it. Think we take them back off of blue. They found another Queller? No! That's literally their best possible draw there. Anything else I would have been so cool with. Oh my god, alright. Ooh, we're in some trouble. We're actually in a lot of trouble. We've just drawn, like, the wrong half of the deck for specifically beating Spellqueller. Ooh, okay. Okay, we gotta buck up our ideas now. We still could very well get there, but, like, they can cash in this Teferi to bounce the Goyf. I can play another Teferi. They were about to draw a replacement land anyway, but... These Quellers, dude. Quellers. It's a good thing we've drawn a million free cards here. We still have the Lurrus to come down as well. Been looking for a good spot for it, and I think next turn will be probably where we want to go with them. But we'll see exactly what they do with the Tefs here. Okay, so Wrenn and Six, you have served us so well. But your time has come. Indeed, Teferi cashing in to bounce the Goyf. Followed by another one. Alright. Heaters. Heaters off the top. Mishra's Bauble, Lightning Bolt. Those are some heaters. Okay. Trophy the Tef. Bolt the Queller that has Kroxa. Had to do it in that order because he cannot cast the things off of Queller with Teferi on the field, which is why their sequence was just so crazy good. Okay, we get the last card out of their hand, which is Mystic Sanctuary. So do we want to escape Kroxa? Or do we want... Yeah, I think we're escaping Kroxa here. If we could double spell some other way, maybe we wouldn't, but... What am I not clicking here? I swear I did that the first time. Okay, so opponent needs a miracle off the top. They're going to upkeep Field Us. Interesting. And then shuffle, so they're just going for max deck thinning. Oh no, they're going for Mystic Sanctuary. Okay, so Kroxa's going to get pathed, but then they're just dead to the Brutalities. So it's an understandable play, but it's one that our draw happens to play around. The Brutalities have been really clunky here. Let's see what's coming off their top deck. Karn the Great Creator. It's going to be kind of an elegant kill. Drain you for 2, drain you for 2. All right. We had the Kolaghan's Command Shock, but again, I like the elegance of Double Brutality. After they've been rotting in hand, not doing much. So, that looked really clunky. We had a big wrong half of the deck problem that's very uncommon. Post-side against a control deck. Now, granted, their control deck was a little bit different than what we're used to seeing. You have to leave in some kill spells, and they're playing kind of above ground, if you will. But we had a major wrong half of the deck problem, and if we were not on a Lurrus deck, we would almost certainly have lost. But the inevitability of Lurrus on top of all of our other X for ones is what finally, if you noticed, pushed us over the edge there. So that was a match where you could debate most lines I took, frankly. But we did get there, and there is a lot of non-obvious decision-making that went down, I feel. And that was a nice win to start things off. And we've got a reasonable keep here. Simply because Wrenn and Six is such a value engine with Nurturing Peatland. Admittedly, there's a lot of awkwardness here, but Wrenn and Six in a functional opener with Lightning Bolt to protect is definitely something I keep most of the time. I'm not shocking in here, nor am I playing Mountain and saying go, and shocking in next turn, because you got to figure that most things Lightning Bolt would kill, a Wrenn and Six ping could kill too, right? Tarmogoyf, eh? Against a Temple Garden deck that mulliganed pretty deep. I'm leaning toward playing Tarmogoyf, but the main reason I want to play Wrenn and Six is so next turn we can have ping and bolt if we need it. So even though this doesn't conceal information as well, nor does it clock as well, nor does it get us any immediate value, I think that is the play. And that's honestly really awkward that we kind of ended up in that spot, but I hope you understand my reasoning for that, and again, I do think it's a respectable keep on the play. Stoneforge Mystic. Got it. So we don't really want to draw lands, but if we do, they might as well be fetch lands. Opponent tutoring a Batterskull, but right now it's probably Bolt and Goyf. Drawn Inquisition. Okay. I guess we hold off Goyf for one more turn. Opponent is... Oh my goodness. Look at this. Look at this Inquisition whiff. What a disaster. What a complete and utter disaster. So we got a lot of things not going our way here in the beginning that most often would be expected to, right? You don't expect your Inquisition to whiff on turn 3 on the play when your opponent has 5 cards in hand. You don't expect your Wrenn and Six to be in a keepable opener, but one with no fetch lands when we play 9 in the deck. So definitely very awkward. It looks like they drew a 3-drop here, which is going to punish our Inquisition even harder. Magus of the Moon? Oh, we're getting destroyed here, guys. We're getting completely and utterly destroyed. You just have to admire it at this point. It's like a major wrong half of the deck problem. And incorrectly timed. Everything. Everything has the worst possible timing from our top decks to their top decks. We are pretty dead. I don't really know what we can draw here. Obviously, basic forest as a natural draw would be most welcome. Opponent bloodbraiding into Seasoned Pyromancer after milling past 5 snow-covered forests. The really unlikely eventualities continue piling up. Alright, well, this seems like kind of a tough matchup. Probably an interesting one, but one where it feels really bad to just give them the free win here, game 1. This is basically a Stoneblade version of the Gruul mid-range deck that we all know and hate, right? So at this point, even a basic off the top, a basic forest for Goyf is not likely to be sufficient. Okay, a complete and total non-game. Hate to see it. Don't exactly know what the precise ins and outs would be for a Naya Blade deck like that. For example, I don't know if we should expect Klothys. I don't know if we should expect Wrenn and Six. I don't know if they're as committed to a Monodork plan as like the Gruul deck might be. It's, I don't know if we should expect any pillages out of them at all or any forms of land destruction, or if they just pack Magus for cheese factor. A lot of things I don't know. A lot of things I really don't know. And to that end, and also because it's a good principle in these matchups in general, these types of red-green X matchups, I don't think we want to sideboard that heavily. So, is there anything that we don't really like in the main deck? I think I'm going to cut my Nihil Spellbombs, and I think everything else looks at least reasonable, but we could also cut one copy of Scavenging Ooze. Admittedly, nice against Klothys, but I think we're going to worry about what we've seen until we know they're on her. You can also cut a little bit of discard, but they have so many X for ones that I'm kind of inclined to leave it in, right? Pillage is the big question over my head. Like, Pillage is fine against Stoneforge targets. I guess we should try it on the play if we're going to, but there's another argument that says just play like Goblin Cratermaker, which is good against Stoneforge Mystic, both in, in a couple different ways. A couple Collective Brutalities and maybe an EE. I think this might be more where my head is at. We saw Bloodbraid Elf, Batterskull, and Glorybringer, so I'm probably, if I am trimming discard, it's going to be one Inquisition. Let's do that. Seems good. Let's run it out there. And no pillages. I guess pillage doesn't really merit a spot necessarily. This could be a Rest in Peace deck as well, by the way. We'll keep. It's a solid hand. The mana's painful. And we don't really have the luxury of playing around Magus of the Moon. But with Lightning Bolt, we don't need it. And that's a beautiful thing. Opponent taking a deep maul down to 5. Well, that makes it likelier that our Inquisition whiffs again, like it did in Game 1. But doesn't mean I'm not going to cast it. So, as we often will when we don't need to scry for ourselves, we will bauble the opponent. They're about to draw Snow-Covered Forest. We see Lightning Bolt Seasoned Pyromancer. This is actually a pretty tough take. Spyro's a really good way to refuel the hand. But Bob's a really good way for us to run away with the game if we just take the Bolt. I think I'm going to take the Bolt and put our faith in good old Dark Confidant. We've drawn Thoughtseize. Nice. That's another good way to beat the Spyro. All right, Bobby boy. Take it away. Again, lots of pain. Still operating off Peatland. It's one of our 2 lands. We got Bob Triggers and Thoughtseizes coming down the pipeline, but we also have Lurrus Bauble Loop coming down the pipeline, potentially. Inquisition. And Tarmogoyf. Still no. 3rd land. That's a tilt. That is a tilt and a half. I guess we should Inquisition, and I guess it should be off the Peatland so we can hold up Bolt. Hope they don't play Veil of Summer. Okay, that's the concession. We were very far ahead on resources, but I don't think it was clear we had them. You know what I mean? But I'll definitely take it. I'll definitely take it. And on the draw, I may be interested in bringing back an Inquisition, but again, what is there to cut? I could maybe just cut Skoos on the draw. I think I like that well enough. These brutalities are a little bit worse on the draw too, aren't they? We got 2 pushes, 3 bolts, 2 seals, 2 and 1 to 2 brutalities that all kill SFM on curve, plus 6 discard spells to Taker. So it's a question of the 60th card being either 1 Skoos or the 2nd brutality. I think I'm actually going to opt for the Skoos, but you could go either way. Wild West and Modern, like I said at the beginning, these are a couple of archetypes that are newish, you know what I mean? Like, you don't really see, like, Spell Queller Blue-White Control, or you didn't pre-Ikoria. And you also don't really see this Naya mid-range deck. Holy moly, do we keep this hand? Do we keep another one-lander, guys? Look at it, though. It's perfect. It's perfect. For the second time this league, I'm going to keep it. And I think this is really justifiable. We don't know whether or not they play turn 1 Monodorks necessarily, but if they do, we've got the push for it. And then look at the hand. Just look at it. It is a thing of beauty. And this time we're going to draw the 2nd land on curve. You just know it. They do play Arbor Elf. All right. And we drew the 2nd land. Lovely. Lovely. And I think we can afford to get Basic Swamp here. So why don't we? It's not totally free, but it's probably correct because we don't have Lightning Bolt in hand this time. So therefore we can't really recover from a top-decked Magus. What might happen is we might have to get Overgrown Tomb with the Foothills to double spell. And then we won't have red necessarily, but that would be the, ooh, rest in peace. Okay. Yeah, we can play around it pretty well with our hand. Obviously, it shuts off Goyf. Also, the Wrenn and Six we just drew is bad in 2 ways, including having got Basic Swamp, but whatever. Let's Inquisition. They have Klothys indeed, but Klothys doesn't do anything with Rest in Peace around, right? Exile target card from a graveyard. Klothys and Rest in Peace. I'm assuming this is a non-bow. I've never seen it come up. So I think we just take the other 2 cards out of their hand. And then go on the Bob plan, and their Rest in Peace is almost as bad for them as it is for us right now. Yeah, I mean, my reading of this is if there's no card to exile, Klothys does nothing. If I'm wrong, then I just punted. Obviously, you want to take Klothys almost all the time, if it has text. Okay, they're playing it. Hopefully it's just for lack of something better to do, right? Let's bauble the opponent here. They're about to draw Spyro. Dude, what a top deck they're about to have. Oh well. We'll say Bob and go, and maybe we can compete. An uncastable Seal of Fire. That isn't out to a top-decked Magus, though. Yeah, and Klothys doing nothing, so our sequencing, and more accurately, our reading of the rules is correct. An opponent had to loot away a Bloodbraid Elf, so this is all reasonable thus far. Gotta hit a third land here. We instead hit EE. And another Bob. Man, how have we bricked on the third land for this long? At least we didn't brick on the second one. But this does kind of suck. Just play another Bob and say go, I guess. Thoughtseize is tempting, but I'm not going to have that mana inefficient of a turn. Gotta fade some good top decks here from OP, of course. I'm somewhat interested in... I think we kind of have to trade a Bob here. Obviously, if they have removal for the second one, that's really going to be bad. But I think we want to leverage exactly one. I don't think we can take the hits for free and take 2 Bob triggers per turn. Okay, opponent with a Stoneforge Mystic off the top. Batterskull. Come on, Bobby. Help us out. All right, Blackcleave Cliffs. So, we are killing SFM. That's something. We're not really doing much else, though. I'm sorry, yes we are. We're going to Thoughtseize Batterskull. See what the other card in their hand is as well, but it's probably got to be the Skull. Yep. Okay. We're doing it, guys. And obviously at some point we can use the Wrenn and Six to ping this token. The Klothys Rest in Peace non-bow. Both cards very good against us, but at least we left one of them relatively dead, right? Our draws have been pretty bad, I guess, overall. But we're going to follow through on our promise to ping this elemental with the Wrenn and Six. And we're going to run out Verdant Catacombs so that we can trophy something if need be, and also get a basic forest if need be. And our position is pretty good, but their top decks can be scary. But, you know, all things considered, it is okay. It is okay. Stomping the Bob. Yep. Okay, into the Bone Crusher. Do believe we're pressed into trophying him. And it might be time to just play out a 3/2 lifelink. Just to keep the value coming, to the extent that we've got it. Lightning Bolt. Okay. Ping you with Wrenn. This is some really low-powered stuff from both decks, compared to the heights that each deck is capable of, right? There might be a time where we want to use the EE for something, but I really don't think it's for either of these cards, because hitting one unlocks the other, right? Or, I guess hitting Rest in Peace unlocks Klothys, and hitting Klothys doesn't do anything. Opponent hesitating here. Well, at least one of their cards is a land. Oh, we brick with the Goyf. We brick with the Goyf. Goyf is usually one of our best cards against Gruul, of course, but again, in the face of Rip. I'm going to continue to slow roll these. I thought about playing a Goyf there, but I'm just going to slow roll a little bit longer. But, ooh, opponent, they don't have anything. Attack you, bolt you, ping you, that's game. Looks like they just flooded out really hard at the end here. Goblin Cratermaker. It kind of plays. It kind of plays. This is going to be the slowest and dirtiest win ever, but I think we got them. All right, well, the opponent max punished for trying to hate us out in two different ways that are non-bowie with each other, and that's kind of how we got there. These have been a couple of weird opening games, my friends, but we are scraping our way over the line. And hey, that was again on the back of Lurrus. Like, even when Lurrus was shut off by multiple avenues, literally just like trading off resources and then having a free 8th card to bring in, that is what finished the game off. Gave us a really good life total buffer as well, and that could have been important against something like Glorybringer off the top, but really it ended up just being the Balduvian Barbarians mode, the 3-2 mode, getting over the line. Alright, well, more grindfests, what can I say? That's all I play these days, it seems, but I've also ran into Neoform a couple times lately where they've turn 2'd me back-to-back with Veil of Summer protecting it both times, so it could be worse, right? It could be much worse. We're winning the die rolls this time out, too. That never hurt anybody. This is another quite nice opening hand. Happy keep. It's the History of Benalia Avatar mirror match. I like your taste, Anaxaraz. Aha, and it's a literal mirror match. They kept a one-lander, though. And this is traditional Jund. How interesting. Traditional Jund. So, the obvious thing to do here is to probably take an Inquisition. I guess that's fine. You can think about, like, assuming they're going to hit their land drops and taking Liliana or something, but I think taking Inquisition's got to be correct here. Alright, well, let's hope that Lurrus is the big mirror breaker here. They probably take Kolaghan's command. No, they take Thoughtseize. Okay. I was kind of half planning to play Kroxa anyway. Alright, now we really got to hit the third land. We get the K command out of their hand. Alright. Opponent hit the second land. Can we do the same? Can we do the same? Come on, land. Come on, land. No, but we have Mishra's Bauble. And that's fine. That's like an acceptable... That's an acceptable outcome. Obviously, we would have preferred an untapped third land over anything there. And hey, every land enters untapped in our deck, right? Opponent's hitting their lands on curve. Aha, so their risky one-lander is rewarded more than our safe two-lander. You hate to see it. You really do hate to see it. Alright, 2 looks at a land. Come on, Bauble. We did it. We did it. Okay. Sadly, these things cannot cast Lurrus off basic forest. You gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. Oh, man. What a disaster. That's really unlucky. So I think we're supposed to K-command here. And, like, buying back Goyf versus taking a card out of their hand it's pretty hard to say. I think I'm going to buy back the Goyf in case I draw a discard spell so I can discard away the push and then play the Goyf and hold off theirs, hopefully. But yeah, I think we're main phasing this. So, Raise Dead, Shock. Our lands, man, our land situation, not good. I guess Basic Forest is the... Basic Forest and Basic Mountain were the only 2 lands that couldn't cast Lurrus there. And casting Lurrus there would have been really nice. Okay, so opponent with push, 1 unknown. We found Trophy. Alright, I accept. The awkwardness continues, but at least we're not going to die to this Goyf. Okay, lots of scary top decks for the opponent here. Wish we were doing something more mana efficient for us and less mana efficient for them than a trophy here after they crack the Peatland, but that is where we're at in this game. We are firmly on the back foot. Is OP just going to say go here? Are we just saying go? Opponent's tanking, or at least considering. Oh boy, Thoughtseize. Okay, so there goes our hope of just slamming a Goyf and buying it back after they push it. Again, if we can fade them putting a threat into play, we're still probably favored, as long as we eventually have our lands start to comply. Kroxa. Again, basic forest just completely killing us here, but I will play the Kroxa. But if this was any other land in the deck, even at this point, with that draw, Mountain would be fine here. Because we'd be holding up Spellbomb, or maybe even potentially main-phasing Spellbomb in search of another land. But as it is, the forest is just no help. You're beautiful, John Avon Forest, but you are unhelpful compared to your contemporaries. The pitch of a push is very interesting. That means they either have Bloodbraid Elf in hand that they couldn't cast before beginning of combat last turn, I think, or just another Fatal Push, right? Oh, they're trophying our Spellbomb. What? What? Okay, now we have the second black. I've never had this happen. Can I pay right now? I can. That's even better. Yeah, sure. Never had this come up. Okay, that is a very strange play from the opponent. That worked out really well for us. Let's hope their top decks don't punish us for it. They have a Kroxa. That's terrifying. We're going to pitch Goyf here. Because what we can do is buy it back with Lurrus. We go land into Lurrus, we can buy back the Goyf, or we can just escape our own Kroxa first. Lightning Bolt, huh? Alright, so what's better here? What's the best play possible here? We escape Kroxa, we put them to 10, and then we attack them down to 1. It's a real shame. It's a real shame. But then maybe we can go Lurrus into escape another Kroxa for lethal, but that would depend on what they draw, right? So would we rather go Lurrus into Goyf? Then we're getting shocked down to 4 by the Kroxa. This is a hard call. I think we should put the Kroxa on the field, but it is definitely unclear, and it is definitely going to have a lot to do, whether it works out or not, with what their top decks are. Once again, basic forest, far inferior to basic mountain, or obviously any other land. If we hadn't had such land issues early, it looks like we'd be winning, right? Ooh, opponent does go down to 9. That's right, because they have to tap the peatland. So I guess they're blocking our Kroxa here, unless their last card in hand is something that lets them do otherwise. Trophy. Oh boy. It's actually a strange draw, because we only have 2 black sources. So if they have a kill spell for Kroxa, this could go really south for us. But I think we're supposed to make them have something in hand to punish it. If they have a land in hand, this is lethal. What an interesting game. Okay, that resolves and they don't scoop. What if they have a trophy? If they have a trophy and we get a second basic swamp, that might play. It was a Wrenn and Six duplicate. Okay, so the game goes on. And once again, if our land base was a little cleaner, we would have clearly won by now. In several different ways. Poor Lurrus just chilling on the sideline here. Lots of scary stuff they could find. Removal for Kroxa would extend the game, but like Bloodbraid Elf into Lightning Bolt would kill us. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. They're tapping 4. I didn't mean it. I take it back. It's Bloodbraid Elf into Thoughtseize. We called it. We changed our shot call at the very end. Bloodbraid Elf into Thoughtseize. Well, that was hairy. That was hairy. And that was also awesome. So we clearly, if we were able to get Lurrus online, would have been very, very well positioned. As it was, we still managed to get there, but it was another ugly one. We're like dragging and scraping our way across the finish line here. Veil of Summer comes in. Probably the 3 Nihil Spellbombs a lot against a regular Jund. We'll say maybe. The EEs are maybe. I don't know exactly how to rate them here, but they probably want to. We probably want to play them. Vampire Hexmage. Jund might be the only Planeswalker base deck where I don't necessarily want her just because she dies to the Wrenn and Six ping, but then again, she can just trade with a Wrenn and Six. We'll put her in the maybe. Definitely 2 Veil, and we'll see what we want to cut. We'll see what we want to cut. What if we cut like 2 Dark Confidants, leaving 1 in is fine, but it's not very good on the draw. We'll try all of these cards. Again, I don't know if how thrilled I am about like the 3rd EE, the 2nd Spellbomb, the 1st Hexmage, but they might have higher floors at least than Bob, whose floor is just getting blown out on curve by a Wrenn and Six. And then we'd be cutting 4 discard spells, huh? Let's cut at least 2. I think I can convince myself to play with only 1 EE. And only, yeah, only 2 Spellbombs. 3 Spellbombs a lot, right? They start getting clunky in that number, potentially. So we're a little bit hedged, but I think it is fine. And if they take us to Game 3, I'm probably going to cut another discard spell or 2 and bring in some more value pieces, but on the draw, our incentives are different. Hand's okay. We're going to keep it. I've seen better, but it's a good functional one. I like to see Kroxa. Thought about playing Seal of Fire there, but I think, like, if they play something that dies to it, like a Dark Confidant here, I'd rather just have held it up and held the surprise factor. Mishra's Bauble. Kroxa time, baby. We get a trophy out of their hand. That's fine. I'll take it. Bauble on the upkeep, revealing Lightning Bolt. Good to know about. Liliana. Okay. Just pitching a land here. We could technically use the 4th land, but I think that's the freest pitch we have. And because they have Lightning Bolt waiting in the wings to beat our Lurrus anyway, I think I'm just going to get our 3-for-1 with Lurrus into... Lurrus into Bauble here. Yep, so that's really nice. Obviously they're really in the game here with their Liliana on curve. Bloodbraid Elf, yeah, they're curving out really well here. And they do have the 4th land. So that's where they'll begin. Okay. Into Fatal Push. Ooh. They didn't revolt this turn. So thankfully, that is a whiff. Then Liliana will Edict. So we are staying competitive here, guys, in the face of a really good curve out. And that was, again, a nice 3-for-1 for us off of Bauble and Lurrus. Okay. So, we've drawn Thoughtseize. Our life total is getting really, really low. But if we think it's worth it, life-wise, we can fetch. Fetching for basic Swamp is really awkward, though, because then we're not escaping Kroxa. So what if we went fetch Shock Thoughtseize, then Seal of Fire the Lily, and then slam a Goyf? It takes us down to 7, but it's probably the right play. It sets us up to escape Kroxa. We've got a backup Goyf. We've got EE. I guess why don't we Thoughtseize before we make that decision, right? They have Kolaghan's Command Bloodbraid Elf in hand. Oh, I'm sorry, they pitched the Lightning Bolt. Major yikes. Wow. Wow. Okay. So I think we actually have to take the K command here. Because otherwise they're just getting a free shock as they buy back the Bloodbraid Elf. It is less tempo efficient, but we're worried about other things right now. We just gotta hope for another brick off Bloodbraid Elf, basically. And now, like, going to 7 before their Bloodbraid Elf is one thing, but after is quite another. I think we do have to get basic Swamp here, unfortunately. So, Kroxa not especially close to being escaped. But we do have a 7/8 Tarmogoyf. And we gotta hope for a brick off of this Bloodbraid Elf. They're going to fetch main phase, although they don't need to revolt this time. But I guess that allows them to do Peatland painlessly. Into Liliana, opposite of a brick. Okay, we lose. Almost certainly. I can't think of a top deck that brings us back from this now. That was about as bad as it gets. We go to 2. Fatal Push. Fatal Push. I guess if we find Lightning Bolt or Seal of Fire, the game goes on. Off of this Peatland. Kolaghan's Command. I mean, technically the game does go on, but we are going to go to 1 here. Going to 1 while operating off of Peatland never did anybody much good. We're going to pitch EE if the opponent has nothing to do but tick up here. Okay, or we're just going to get empty-handed because they rip Inquisition. And they have Tarmogoyf. Ooh, okay. Opponent showing us what the meaning is, what the meaning of classic Jund is, right? So we're just dead on board to the Liliana. Even if we crack Peatland and find something, I guess we still are. I don't think we have an out, but let's check. Basic Swamp, ain't it? They got us. Okay. Really strong Jund curve out. That's okay. We can definitely outgrind them, I think, on average, but that was a real tough one to handle. And Liliana really making the case for her continued inclusion in grindy decks on the basis of that. And Bloodbraid Elf, too. Bloodbraid Elf, yeah, really kept the pressure on. But again, opponent's hand was really, really strong. Their curve out was really, really strong. And we're not really teched for Jund. We just have a natural advantage against Jund with Lurrus. On the draw, thinking about bringing back another Bob. But I'm also thinking about leaving it exactly as is. I think, yeah, again, I think the floor on Bob is too low. I think registering 1 is fine. Beyond that, I start to get a little sketched out. And even though we could cut some discard spells, I don't like the second EE or the third Spellbomb over the 4th targeted discard spell. So they're not making it easy on us, guys. But we are on the play here for game 3. With a solid enough one, obviously we wish there was a fetch land involved for Wrenn and Six. We've had that happen a couple times, but it's a keep. We love to see the opponent mulligan a couple times here, but no such luck. Alright, given the Wrenn, I am just going to run out Seal of Fire here on turn 1, because we're clearly in the market to cast Wrenn T2, whether or not we draw a fetch, but let's hope that we do. Nihil Spellbomb, sure. Definitely a good one. Fetch land. Kroxa. Good, but I don't want a repeat of our mono woes from game 1. This is looking familiar, where we keep a 2-lander and then don't hit the 3rd land for a long time and have a bunch of 3-drops and context-dependent 2-drops like Wrenn and Six just chilling in hand. They tossed away a swamp to Kroxa, so clearly they have no worries about their lands, or maybe they have a Wrenn and Six on curve, but nope, they have a Ravine. Okay, come on. Fetch land is still really good here. Veil of Summer. Oh, okay. Missing the lands, dude, missing the lands. I hate to complain, but that really is a great way to lose this game. So you just gotta get the run down. And then at least we have like some things on board, even if they're pretty underwhelming right now. It's giving the opponent a lot to think about, giving us mana-efficient turns, and Veil of Summer is a real blowout, if we can find a good spot for it. Opponent hating the grave hard now, though, with Scooze. Blackcleave Cliffs. Yep. Still no fetch land for Wrenn, but a welcome draw nevertheless. So if we take action with Seal of Fire, of course, they'll compete over it and win. Could be interesting to ping the Scooze with Wrenn first. But that might get Wren's loyalty low to no end. The reason we don't really need to, quote-unquote, is because we have this Fatal Push. But I actually kind of think I'm supposed to beat the Scooze this way, because it lets us hold up K-Command this way, and that's actually pretty sweet. And our Wrenn and Six is not doing anything otherwise. Now, if we wanted to, we could K-Command right now to buy back Kroxa, but then we go Shields down with Veil of Summer. You know what, though? I think I might. I think this is a pretty sweet 2-for-1 opportunity that I'm going to take. Buy back, discard you, and it all plays well together, you know what I mean? Like, this will be the 3rd non-targeted discard of the early game once we cast Kroxa again. We get a Fatal Push out of the hand. And we took care of the Scooze, so kind of an interesting play. Wrenn and Six still valuable enough, despite some awkwardness for sure. Tarmogoyf. Okay, I guess we're just taking up and playing Kroxa. Holding up Veil of Summer. Holding up Fatal Push. And trying to get our engines online here. We've been finding interesting ways to make it happen, but ultimately it's been way too clunky for my tastes. An opponent is going for the Nihil Spellbomb here. Okay. So now we can unlock some good stuff if we can, like, find a fetch land to kick things off, maybe. Bet they have a Bloodbraid Elf, though. Maybe, maybe not. Ashiok Dream Render. Yeah. Obviously, that makes a fetch land terrible now. So let's not draw one now. But they've exiled a bunch of stuff. I think we're going to start pinging their Planeswalker. Do we want to loot Peatland right now? Well, if we did, we shouldn't have pinged their Planeswalker. I'm just playing a Tarmogoyf, seeing if they have removal after all this. Which they probably do. But at least they couldn't use it that turn. Off of just red. But our mana's a disaster. Obviously, we want to hold up Veil of Summer here for a Lily Edict or a Fatal Push. Oh my god. If we could just have functional mana, I think we'd be winning all three of these games, but that's not our luck. Okay, now we do it. Now we hit the fetch land, after it's not that good anymore. Guess we're just pinging the Lily. We're going to say go here, holding up K-Command, holding up Fatal Push. Fatal Push on a Raging Ravine could be pretty interesting here. This is tough. This is tough. The total non-compliance of our mana is what's making it tough. Opponent is maybe having the opposite problem. They do appear to be a bit flooded out. Alright, I'm going to crack Peatland. It's a bit of a desperation move, but obviously we're interested in buying it back here. And the opponent's Ashiok is not moving, and we just rip fetch land into Seal of Fire, huh? So at least we're churning through the cards. At least Seal of Fire is something we can do while holding up Veil of Summer. And I think I'm going to do that. I don't think I want to expose the Tarmogoyf until we can protect it with Veil. But obviously we're just kind of half-time walking ourselves with a lot of these plays, but what else are we supposed to do with our mana that's available, right? Okay, OP flooded. OP flooded like crazy. So I'm just going to keep drawing cards. Oh my god, the third fetch land? Are you kidding me? That's all we wanted in the early game. Oh, do they have removal for Wrenn? Okay, they do. At least it's a trophy, though. But obviously, we're shields down with Veil of Summer, which just sucks. Now, what's opponent doing in the draw step? They have one unknown in hand. Okay, just fetching. I'm going to start making these land drops. And it's Bob time, and at least this is a creature that we can play with Veil backup, right? This is very, very, very intense. Don't know if you're feeling the same while watching at home. We could not be competitive with a lot of the opponent's scariest draws, but that's the concession. Okay, excellent, excellent. We're doing it, guys. We are 3-0. I'm having all kinds of fun, and we're limping over the line in a lot of these. Our deck's not even firing on all cylinders, but so far, so good. And I will see you for round 4. We have returned, my friends. Pardon me. And we are barely getting there, and it's kind of cool. And we're winning all the die rolls. That's pretty sweet. Why Principe? I probably am not pronouncing that correct, and I believe this is a trophy leader of some notoriety. I'll keep. The awkwardness of our lands is pretty obvious. So it's a real open question as to what to lead on. Like, we could lead on the fetch land in the hopes that we draw another non-swamp land next turn and we're able to cast Wrenn and Six. But if we can't, then we might kind of color screw ourselves by not doing it, you know what I mean? But I think we need to go for the turn 2 Wrenn high upside, especially with double spell bombs in hand to cantrip. And I think I'm supposed to get Overgrown Tomb here because we could naturally draw the Blackcleave Cliffs for the Wrenn. And let's see what kind of Lurrus deck our opponent is on. Oh my god, disaster, disaster. It's Lurrus Burn, and we just fetch shocked Thoughtseize unnecessarily. I'm going to take Eidolon and hope to get really lucky off of the Goblin Guide triggers, and then subsequently off of our top decks. Yikes. Oh, we just got juked out by the Lurrus. Come on, Goblin Guide. Come on, show us the love. Show us the love, baby. Dark Confidant, opposite of the love. But you know what? He trades with the Goblin Guide, and he's literally the best play in our hand. So, disaster is Searing Blaze. And admittedly, they kept kind of a weak hand, but it's going to line up really well against ours. And maybe you just keep weaker hands if they've got a lot of creatures in it with Lurrus, and they drew the third Goblin Guide. Oh my goodness, my friends. Oh my goodness. You gotta show us at least one land. Okay, one land, followed by Maelstrom Pulse. Okay, that's a hilarious one to have. We still have to save the 2 damage here. We don't really want our Bob to stick around anyway. But hey, we're gonna get to Pulse the Guides. And opponent's gonna get to start buying them back with Lurrus, potentially. And don't get me wrong, even though Pulse is a pretty good draw, we're going down to 7 against Burn. We have no board presence. And it's not good. It's not good at all. Opponent just ripping all the creatures. All of them. There's a Swifty. Okay, we need a Tarmogoyf, right? Inquisition. Well, we know they have 2 lands in hand, I believe. Think we need to Spellbomb right now. Digging for removal. Okay, get the other Spellbomb down and try to put some kind of a stand together with Lurrus, but it's obviously not looking good. We obviously also want to save the trophy, if possible, for their Lurrus. Oh, they had a Bauble, or they drew one. Oh, yeah. Okay. We just got. We just got. I mean, I guess we're cashing this in, but I think we're pretty much dead either way. Okay, so I've been calling it Burn, but it might be a little bit more of a Prowess deck. I guess it's a hybrid. The Goblin Guide is obviously not a traditional Prowess card. Okay, well, we still have basically no hope here, as far as I can tell. Scavenging Ooze, huh? We cannot both Scooze and Trophy, so I guess I'm just going to play Lurrus, and I suppose we should Inquisition first. Or is it? Nah, it's probably better to buy back a Spellbomb. Probably better on average to buy back a Spellbomb, because we're just all in on them just totally breaking out anyway. Boros Charm. Alright. Absolutely destroyed by Lurrus Burn, Prowess, something or other. Pretty crazy stuff. EE and Spellbomb both seem like they've got some roles to play. Collective Brutality seems really good. Goblin Cratermaker could come in. Vampire Hexmage could come in. But probably the worst card we're considering bringing in. I'm just going to side exactly like a normal anti-burn configuration, with the exception of being more interested in Spellbomb than I would ever be. If we cut both copies of Wrenn and Six, we can bring in all 8 of these cards. See how that looks. Looking pretty strong, I'm not gonna lie. Looking pretty darn strong to me. Is it possible that one copy of Wrenn and Six as a consistency tool is better than anything else we're doing? And is it possible they're playing any toughness 1 creatures? Probably not. So Wrenn would purely be a painful consistency tool. And I don't know if we should expect them to, like, juke us into a Rest in Peace or something. We cannot play around that. We have enough problems handling the burn plan anyway. So, but in case they do, I guess leaving out Wrenn and Six is a little bit more appealing because of that, right? It's just kind of a little bit embarrassing to register Vampire Hexmage in this matchup, but no, it's not, actually. It's just Goblin Guide can't attack into her. She's OP. Let's submit deck. She's gonna turn the tide at a crucial juncture, I predict. All right, I will play first. I will show you my Lurrus. We've got our millionth one-lander of the league. This is another pretty good one, but unlike the other ones, like, I don't just willy-nilly keep all the one-landers, because this one only has one really good proactive thing that's 1 mana, so despite how great this hand is, I do think we have to mulligan it. You hate to see it. Okay, this is a double brutality hand, that's obviously pretty great. And they mulligan as well, obviously pretty great too. So we will keep. I think I'm bottoming a Bloodstained Mire here. Okay, opponents keeping 6 as well. We go Verdant Catacombs pass. Okay, they're Shocking and Foundry. For a Swifty. We'll wait till beginning of... yeah, they have Bauble. I was going to say, we gotta wait till beginning of combat because they might not jam the Bauble unless they know it's all clear, but they do anyway. They're going to Bauble us right now. I don't think that is correct, because if we don't have a play, we're going to shuffle it away. I think you're supposed to just wait on the Bauble until the last possible moment. Also, if we have discard, which we might, which I think we will, with Brutality, that's going to give us a wider selection to choose from. So, a minor sequencing error from our erstwhile opponent. And we've drawn Kolaghan's Command. Interesting. Interesting. An undeniably good card. One that makes me kind of want to pitch Goblin Cratermaker, because we can either eat it with the use or get it back with the K command. It just makes us that much more all in on drawing all 3 lands, though, but I think that's fine. But if we're going to escalate all 3 modes, we kind of have to pitch both of them anyway, so that's probably correct. But it's unclear whether the life drain is completely necessary and optimal here. But I'm going to go for it. We've got some clunk in the hand. Okay, they have a 1-lander. Lava Spike, Rift Bolt, Skullcrack. I'm actually going to take the Rift Bolt because nothing else can kill the Scavenging Ooze. And it's also one of their relatively few live plays. Until they hit the second land. Come on, land. Yes, yes, we did it. Goblin Guide, thank you. Thank you very much. It is a Blackcleave Cliffs, so it's not the perfect one. If we draw Mishra's Bauble, I'm just going to probably jam Lurrus and take my 3 for 1. We've drawn Bloodstained Mire. Alright, so what do we think about Brutality? Kill the guide, check the hand, then we play the Mire, and then we can untap, and then we can get a painless green and get to work with Scooze. So no life drain this time. Reveal the hand, -2, -2. They have 2 skull cracks, huh? Think I'm just going to take the Lava Spike and go for the high upside of them never hitting a second land. Obviously, these skull cracks are pretty annoying if they ever get online, but there's now a lot of pressure on the opponent to make that land drop. They haven't, but they've found a castable. It is Rift Bolt. That's actually a pretty good one, because again, it can hit our board. So now I want to draw like a Tarmogoyf, something that we can just play out and survive the Rift Bolt. Or I want to draw a Bauble, so I'm cool losing Lurrus to the Rift Bolt for the sake of progressing our game plan. Or we can draw an untapped green land and grow the Ooze outside of Rift Bolt range. Lots of good draws here. Let's see one of them. Let's see one of them. Mishra's Bauble. All right. Good enough. They're about to draw one of their own. Okay, so now Lurrus is our bolt bait. And then Scooze can hopefully come down and clean up the game. We're drawing another Bauble, which is not ideal, is it? So here comes their Bauble. They're about to draw their 3rd skull crack. Okay. Come on, untapped land for Scooze to grow up out of this range. But that's just the concession anyway. Alright, opponent's just non-functional and not interested in grinding it out with us. Good enough for me. Okay, okay. Gonna be tough around the draw. But that was a nice one. I don't see anything in the board that I like, so I'm just gonna run it right back. Even Burn is super grindy now with these newfangled builds. Hope you guys are having fun. Hope you're enjoying this one, Noah. It's a really good advertisement for your deck. I think the card Fatal Push has been really good here, so the second copy of Push has been looking really good. Ooze was all set to play a really nice role there. Yeah, the changes that you've made and that we've talked about are definitely really, really promising. And the archetype as a whole, definitely real promising. Hope everybody else is having fun as well. All right. The hand doesn't disrupt all that well, but just like throwing down a couple big Tarmogoyfs, and we have EE on turn 1. I think this is a keep, but there's a lot not to like. There's no kill spell, no discard, no life gain, and 3 fetch lands, whereas we'd prefer like 1 at the most and a couple painless basics or Blackcleave Cliffs. Nevertheless, I do think this is an acceptable keep on the strength of double Tarmogoyf more than anything else, which is one of the very best cards in the matchup. However, I did mention the risk of them juking us out with a Rest in Peace. Let's hope that doesn't come to pass. If it does, we are very low percentage to win. T1 Lava Spike. 4th fetch land. Wow. Alright. Yeah, if they have Rip, we're just dead. We're just dead. I'm gonna get basic Swamp here. Run out an EE on 1. Hey, it's gonna dissuade them from a double creature turn. Not that they have one, because they would have certainly played whatever they had on turn 1. Yeah, Eidolon. Eidolon. You hate to see an Eidolon. So, it is Tarmogoyf time, and we gotta hope the Goyfs are good enough. And obviously just drawing land for our turns here has been pretty disastrous. You'd hate to just like flood here and lose due to being on the draw and then flooding. But okay, opponent main phasing Lava Spike. Interesting. Followed by another Eidolon. Whoa. Those are some kind of aggressive plays. Goblin Cratermaker, huh? What an interesting spot. So if we K-command... Like, we need them to cast to make the first move, right, with casting spells? We really need them to make the first move. So I guess we are supposed to just hold up Kolaghan's command. But, like, if we're both kind of locked out, then what, right? And obviously they can attack. Them attacking is really an interesting proposition. Like, we're at a virtual 9 with the fetch land, but they don't know that we only have 1 kill spell. Like, we could be representing push and bolt here, or double push, or push and decay, any combination thereof. But we're at a virtual 5. Well, we're definitely taking a block here. There's no question about that. So if we go to 5, we're dead to double burn. But if they don't have double burn, Then there's going to be instant creature. So we're going to have a 5/6 Goyf, huh? This is such an interesting spot. Yeah, we're not going to be able to kill them on the crackback, so I don't think we do anything here. I think we just take the hit. Okay, Searing Blaze, sure. Doesn't do it, but it does put us to 5. So, now, what are our outs? Cratermaker cannot go upstairs. Ooh. I think we're just supposed to say go. I don't want to die to a Boros Charm, so I don't want to fetch. Just hope to, like, draw a natural... Okay. That really punishes us for not doing it last turn, because we would have had lethal this turn. Well... This is so interesting, isn't it? Once again, I'm just saying go. I'm really struggling with this decision. I'm sorry if it's incorrect. But... well, yeah, we're just dead kind of no matter what we do due to the pain of our land base. All right, I hope I'm not missing something here. I'm really tanking, and I don't want to just sit here thinking for minutes on end on camera. I'm probably on camera on the opponent's end, too. The double Eidolon start really getting us. Really getting us good. But all we can do right now is kind of hope that the opponent goes low enough that we can... I mean, we gotta shut off attacks with Goyf. Oh, they have Lightning Helix? Alright, so nothing matters anymore. Lightning Helix pretty much single-handedly beats us, because our main hope, of course, was just them not having both damage and life gain. They just rip burn and we're dead. With no chance of us getting... getting a window. So going to 1 leaves us dead to Searing Blaze, but as long as they leave that fetch land uncracked, we are anyway. Once again, just kind of looking for a natural red land to draw so we can, in theory, burn upstairs in response to their burn. But... in practice, I just don't think we have any outs. I'm used to having some 4-drops in the deck, right? Used to having some 4-drops in the deck. If we draw an untapped red land, nope. Okay, well, let's crack Peatland. There's a Blackcleave Cliffs, so we just gotta kind of keep a holding pattern. I think this is correct, because, like, in 2 turns, if they keep breaking, we can attack. And if they don't block, we have Bolt K Command. Or no, sorry, not as long as the Eidolon's around. But nevertheless, like, we cast any spells, we're dead. So, what else are we supposed to do, really? It's possible we should be scooping, because I don't think there's any way out unless the opponent punts. Seal of Fire. Yeah. Well, this is very strange, isn't it? Very strange way to lose. Another Eidolon. Yep. That's another interesting way to lose. Okay, Eidolon locked. GG. Again, possible I should have just scooped, I guess, deterministically dead after a certain point with a Lurrus deck without any 4-drops or higher to draw. I am wondering whether I was just completely missing something. It's kind of late in the day for me, and it's been a long league already. I hope I wasn't missing something. I hope we just kind of got beat by the curve out. That would suck. But, you know, it was a pretty close one. Eidolon of the Great Revel remains an amazing card and is better positioned, I suppose, against Lurrus Jund than against regular Jund, because we've got things like Huntmaster of the Fells that you can play in those situations that are incredible on regular Jund. Questing Beast on Rock. This is a fine keep. We'll keep it. Yeah, that was a little bit demoralizing. Maybe I just should have scooped earlier. Sorry about that if that was all unnecessary. Again, I just couldn't shake the feeling that I was kind of missing something, right? So, maybe that's right, maybe that's wrong. I don't know. Again, I hope not. But here we are in round 5. We've already cashed the league. We are doing quite well overall. And that was about as close as it gets. We were, like, we had a lot of good juice in hand. We just couldn't beat their curve out. So 3-1 with a narrow loss, and admittedly with 3 narrow wins. Again, they never make it easy on us lately. I can't remember the last time I had a, like, really straightforward, more than one really straightforward match. Alright, well, at the risk of them having something at instant speed here, we're going to Seal of Fire this thing before it connects. Opponent says, big fan, have fun. I'll say, thanks very much. Good luck, have fun. Alright, so it's unclear whether we're against Burn or Prowess, but either way, Goyf on curve looking pretty tasty here. And all of these red and black lands are annoyingly bad with Skoos, but the good thing about Lurrus is we can just jam the Skoos, and if it dies, well, he can maybe buy it back. We are against mono-red Prowess. I think that was more likely for a fan of the channel to play Prowess than to play Burn, but you do never know. They monomorphose into Burst Lightning into Lightning Bolt, so we get the 2-for-1 with Goyf. But we get the millionth bad land of our opening progression. This is a specifically horrible flood again. 3 lands in hand, none of them make green. So obviously just playing Scooz out. Naked, getting no value is a disaster. Even if we can later buy it back with Lurrus, it will still have been a disaster. Alright, so opponent crashing through, bolting the Scooz, spiking us. Alright, gotta fade the Bedlam Reveler. I'd love a draw of Nihil Spellbomb for that reason. We don't get it. We don't get it. I'm going to play out the Seal of Fire. I don't want to expose Lurrus yet. I think the best line with Lurrus is going to be next turn, buy back the Goyf. Please no Bedlam Reveler, my friend, my viewer, my good friend. Uh-oh, Lava Spike. Probably either light up the stage or Bedlam Reveler. Have mercy. Have mercy, it's a light up. Oh, man. Into double crash through. Okay, so no Reveler yet. Opponent just going to town over there. You love to see it. Prowess, still one of my favorite decks. Dark Confidant. Some more bad draws. Oh boy. Hey, at least we got this sweet 3-for-1. Lurrus into Goyf is pretty incredible here. And if the opponent has not managed to hit a Reveler, our position's actually pretty fine. Runaway Steamkin, okay. Interesting to play around this ability with Seal of Fire, huh? So, where's Lava Dart? Targeting upstairs. Okay, that means they probably have a light up the stage in hand. They could blow us out, but I think we're supposed to Seal of Fire in response. If it's not now, it's basically never, so I'm going to go for it. Okay, we did it. We beat the Steamkin. Good. Good, great, grand. But yes, indeed another light up the stage. So my familiarity with the matchup definitely helping us out here. And that's the concession. Sweet. Okay. A nice win in game 1. Collective Brutality will come in. Spellbomb explosives all seem pretty good. And hey, Lurrus buying back Goyf was huge there. That is why they conceded. Imagine if we didn't have Lurrus, we were just... The opponent gave us a window and we just couldn't exploit it, and then they just go Soulscar into Monomorphose and they eventually find a Reveler, and that would be that. But as it was, Lurrus buying back Goyf after they already had to 2-for-1 themselves to beat the Goyf in the first place. We then get to 3-for-1 them. With Lurrus into Goyf, it's just really disgusting. So, this is what I'm thinking. We have Wrenn and Six, we have one Wrenn and Six and one Thoughtseize are the two kind of bad cards that we're leveraging, but I don't mind, as you may have heard me say before, leaving in one Thoughtseize, but we should actually probably play this Cratermaker, just a bear that can kill one of their Prowess threats. They're also on Steamkin, so Wrenn and Six pinging Steamkin is not bad. Though these two factors together make me want to consider cutting the Thoughtseize. There's like nothing between these three cards. They're all kind of equally marginal. And if we are going to leave the Thoughtseize in, it should be now on the draw. I'm actually going to cut a Wrenn and Six on the draw, and if they take us to game 3, I'll probably cut Thoughtseize on the play, bringing back Wrenn. We've got a solid opener. Uh-oh. Leyline of the Void! Prowess with Leyline of the Void! Spicy. Respect that. MT MT Gilligan. Okay, third time we get it right. Well, Leyline of the Void. That's a problem. That is a problem indeed. Run out the Seal of Fire, pass to you. At least we know they have some bricks in the deck, you know? However many ley lines they didn't open on are going to be dead draws, and usually Prowess doesn't have many, if any, dead draws, which is a strength of the deck, right? Okay, Bolt into probably light up the stage. Oh, into Lava Dart. They're just dumping out the hand, huh? Okay. I kind of forgot to play Mishra's Bauble last turn, I'm not going to lie. I just kind of forgot to do it. Let's do it now. They're about to draw Runaway Steamkin. Alright, our Tarmogoyfs are not that impressive. There's literal only instant in the yard. So I think I'm playing out the Spellbomb. I want to hold up Lightning Bolt and hold up Spellbomb activation. Technically, we're giving up 1 point of life because they could, in theory, Lava Dart us before we... I mean, they could have done it anyway, though, right? And, like, them cashing in a land there would be very, very questionable. Alright, so the line now is to Spellbomb first. And then... might as well Seal of Fire now. Yeah, Leyline shutting off Spellbomb is a little bit rough. Kolaghan's Command. I think, again, I like that better than holding up... or than playing Tarmogoyf, probably. But there is some consideration for jamming the Goyf now. But yeah, I think we're going to say go. That was kind of a bad play with Spellbomb. My play is starting to fall apart a little bit here at the end of the league. You'll have to forgive me. You'll have to forgive me, my friends. I think getting an Overgrown Tomb is pretty free here. We have another fetch land in case they're on Blood Moon that we can hold up indefinitely. And we're drawing more lands than we'd ever want to, right? I think now's the time. I think now we just go double Goyf, even though they're really small. So their Leyline putting in so much work, it's unreal. I kind of want Lurrus to be the last cat standing, even after, even in the face of Leyline, just because the repeated 3/2 lifelink is really nice. Opponent double Lava Darting the Goyf, but the Goyf still lives because they sacked a mountain. That's an easy one to miss, seems like a misplay, but yeah, an understandable one. Whoops, forgot the land would be in the yard. GG. Unlucky. Okay. Let's go back to the opponent. Come on. Okay. Well, that was a 4-1, and we were very close to the 5-0. Again, like halfway through that burn matchup, my brain just kind of fell out of my head. I just kind of stopped playing confidently. Right now, if you were to ask me, I was going to say, no, I don't think we could have done anything there. But for some reason, I was experiencing a mental block with all the Eidolon stuff. I don't think we had an out, but I'm going to be pretty annoyed with myself if we did. Nevertheless, guys, this was a great advertisement for Lurrus Jund. We had almost, I don't want to exaggerate, but we really didn't have that many ideal curve outs. We are facing a lot of hate in a lot of people that are prepared to combat a deck like this, which you should expect. These decks are everywhere. These decks are the new hot thing on the block, and that's just kind of how it's going to be. And there were already a lot of incentives to play Graveyard Hate before this, with Bant, for example, being a top deck in the format, with Dredge always running around trying to spike metas. It goes on and on and on. Even against Mono Red Prowess, value-oriented Graveyard Hate is quite nice. So, with that in mind, that's basically, like I was saying, we faced a lot of hate, we faced a lot of reasonably difficult matchups, and I don't think we really curved out in a dominant fashion in most of the games. We had I think an unusual amount of fetch lands not in the opener for Wrenn and Six, followed by getting flooded. That happened twice. We had once just generically getting flooded, and then the second time getting flooded by fetch lands, specifically against Ashiok. So, lots and lots of room for nastier curve outs. It's not like we were nut drawing people left, right, and center. Admittedly, we didn't mulligan much at all. I don't remember. So that's really nice. And we kept a lot of really generically functional opening hands. I'm not trying to downplay our variance either, but what I'm saying is this deck has another gear or two to go up for sure. And it's not optimized yet. That I can guarantee you. There's just no way it's optimized right now, if nothing else. Even if people are onto the optimal build right now, the meta is not settled. People are playing anything and everything right now. So as the meta clarifies, so too will the optimal structure of Jund Lurrus. And I'm very confident now that we should not be playing the card Traverse. It was the first thing that occurred to me, but that was wrong. Even in Abzan, I don't think we want the card Traverse. It's just too slow. It's a little too dorky when you're not getting Death Shadow with it. When you're on Shadow, your entire structure is set up to maximize Shadow. Therefore, you want a virtual copy 5, 6, 7, and perhaps 8 of it. And that's true whether you're on green for Traverse or white for Ranger Captain of Eos. We're not on that linear kind of style. Not that Shadow's a linear deck, but we don't have as linear of a threat suite. Traverse, it's just vulnerable to hate. It's just a little slow, little weak, I think. I think that's not a controversial opinion either, but I'm just clarifying for people who've been following my content. This seals it. You just see how much stronger a setup like this is. And, with Abzan, Lingering Souls is a real attraction to the card, or to the archetype, and you've got a couple cool white hate bears there. Dranith Magistrate could be really involved, as we saw out of the opponent. It was involved in their main deck even. It's a nice meta call. So there's still a lot of potential in Abzan too, but the power of Jund, Kroxa, Wrenn and Six, Bolt, Seal of Fire, Kolaghan's Command, Pillage, Boil, Goblin Cratermaker. Those are the attractions to Jund, and we had a really good display here. That's about all I got, guys. I'm really beat. I have been cranking out content like crazy. And I might take a little bit of a break after this. Not a long one, but I've been putting out a really high frequency of videos. You might not see another one for maybe a week. I don't know. Something like that. So go back and watch this one if you skipped around it. You can watch Earl Gari, which came out just right before this, and that was a really awesome league there. And you can watch our debut with the Abzan Traverse Lurrus, which admittedly, again, Traverse I don't think is where we want to be, but Lurrus had some shining moments in the sun there. I played that right after Ikoria came, and people were not quite as prepared to beat the card Lurrus itself as they were here today. So, thank you once again to Noah for setting up this donation league, for making some really cool changes to the list, and of course, for his generous support of the channel. Thank you once again to our newest Patreon supporters, Inquisitor Ben Rez, Unearthed David with a Y, David with a Y, David with a Y, it's gotta be one of those three, right? And Confidant Will Bushmeyer. This was a sweet one. This was a strong one. It was another struggle session, though. Never making it easy on us. Nothing quite falling into place as maybe it should. But as long as we can limp over the line to a 4-1, nobody's happier than me. So, one of these days it's all going to come together. We're going to run really hot, but today was a little bit of a mixed bag. Again, just an advertisement for how freaking strong Lurrus is, that even when things are a little haphazard, you got a lot of little things going against you, you just can kind of muscle your way through. That's about all for, again, a little while, but stay tuned to the channel because I've got a spicy Black-White Pioneer Donation League coming up, and we're going to play more of this archetype, and who knows, every time I clear my queue of donation leagues, it seems more pop up, which is a good problem to have. Don't get me wrong. I'm very grateful for that, and that's great, but who knows what the immediate future holds, but you will want to stick around and watch it right here. I thank you so much for watching this one, and I hope, as I said at the beginning, everybody out there is staying safe, and I will talk to you next time. Hope everybody out there has a wonderful night.